Good morning, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Reading Sunday worship service. My name is Tirza Mason, and I'm a member of the worship arts team. I use the pronouns she and her. We welcome you here today as we join together to create a space where we can work together to heal our challenged and broken world by building a strong, committed, and loving community, and at the same time explore and nurture our individual community. Everybody can hear now? Good? In the back? Good. If this is your first time with us, we're so happy you've joined us. We will continue to meet throughout the summer for community chapel services. See the newsletter for details. You can also visit our webpage to learn more about our beloved community. There you can connect with our staff, or for those of you with us here in the sanctuary this morning, please come up to speak with Reverend Laura and myself after the service. Join us in Fellowship Hall for fellowship and treats. Well, here we are. Reverend Laura's last sermon for us. A time many of us have been dreading, while also being excited to wish her success in her new pulpit. It is a time for laughter and for tears. There are hopefully sufficient tissues in every row. And most of all, time for the gratitude we all feel for the blessing that has been Reverend Laura's ministry for this past 3 years. So, breathe in this time in this space. And in the words of Psalm 118:24, Zeh hayom asa Adonai nagila v'nishma bo. This is the day the source of life has made. Come, let us rejoice and be glad in it.
Good morning. My name is Bonnie Anderson. I'm your choir director and pianist, and I get to work with these fabulous people in the UUCR choir. These are for the choir members. I'm going to give them to them at the end of the service, but I wanted to recognize each one just by name rather than having them come up now. We have 6 sopranos. We have Janet Nussbaum, Kitty Craig Coleman, Barbara Bennett, Liz Lovell, Molly Smith, and Jay White. Please clap for the sopranos. We have 7 altos. Woohoo! We have Tirza Mason, Rachel Fetters, Lorraine Dennis, Carol Oakes, Julie Ferraro, Jen McGregor, and Martha Moore. Yay! We have 3 tenors, Mark Tates, Bob Brower, and Ron Cavicchio. Woo-hoo. Bob Carey, too. Oh, okay. Bob Carey. Oh, not Brower. Okay. I'll explain my chart in a minute. And we have 4 basses, Bob Bennett, Kevin Keeling, Rob Craig Coleman, and Mark Zabinden. This is the chart that one of the choir members made for my first rehearsal, and it had everybody's seat because we have so many Rons, Robs, and Bobs in this choir. It took me months to get used to it. So I want to just say to this choir that they are phenomenal. When I interviewed for this job, I said, how many paid vocal soloists do you have in the choir? Do you have 2 or do you have 4? They said, we don't have any. So I thought, oh, I'm going to go work in a church where there are no paid choir soloists? And I came to the first rehearsal, and I could see why. You don't need any paid soloists in the choir. They all sound like pros. So this is really an honor to be able to work with 20 members of the UC choir, and I love each one. They each bring a different spirit and different voice to the choir and to all of you. And before I go back to my bench, I would like to acknowledge Reverend Laura. She has been a fabulous supporter of the music program. She's always acknowledging and thanking the choir and the musicians who sing and play here. And we are going to miss you, terribly. I've been playing in churches for 40 years, and she is the most supportive minister of the music program that I've ever worked with.
Oh, goodness. Hello. My name is Reverend Laura Solomon. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. I am the minister here at UUCR for 2 more weeks. And it is a privilege to serve this community and the world with you. I think we need to do something embodied this morning to kind of feel our feelings and release them a little bit so that we can be present for the rest of our worship service together. So I invite you to shake your hands, stomp your feet, wiggle your body. Whew. And let's take a deep breath in and let it out with an audible sigh. Now that we got that out of the way, thank you. We are going to start our worship this morning with opening words from the Reverend Kim Mason. Once upon a time, chemists believed they could transform lead into gold or death into life. We laugh, but are we not also in the business of alchemy? Turning loneliness into connection, pain into comfort, anger into solidarity, faith into action. The subtle magic of church combines love with justice, creates hope out of fear, transforms individuals into community. Here, we engage in a holy alchemy, finding beauty in the ordinary and life in the present. Come, let us be transformed together. Let us worship. We light our chalice this morning with Unitarian Universalists all around the globe. I invite you to call into your heart the flame you kindle this morning. The flame of truth, of community, of commitment to love and justice. Please join me in our chalice lighting words, which can be found on the laminated sheets in the backs of your pews. In the light of truth, the warmth of community, the fire of commitment, we gather this day. May the flame we now kindle be to us a symbol of the holiness we seek. Each week we recite our children's affirmation as a reminder of the most important elements of who we are. Come on up, my friends. Let's do our children's affirmation together. It's so good to see you this morning. Hello. Oh my gosh, so many friends, so many surprise entrances. Oh, you weren't here last week because you were sick? I'm so glad you're here and feeling better. We are Unitarian Universalists, the Church of the open mind, the loving heart, and the helping hands. Thank you all. Please rise in body or in spirit. We will sing our opening hymn, number 360, in your gray hymnal, Here We Have Gathered.
Hi, everyone. We have a very special time for all ages today. I would like to welcome up all our kids and our youth to the front. Come on and find a seat. Yeah. And I'd like to invite Reverend Laura to come sit front and center somewhere. We can make some space. Thank you, Phyllis. Thank you. Hey, good morning. Well, as we've already spoken, today is Reverend Laura's last sermon. Our students have a heartfelt gift for you in the form of a song. Before we sing it, I want us to take time to tell Reverend Laura all the reasons why we love her, what we've learned from her, and wish her good luck at her new church. So you, the kids and youth, are going to get a turn to come up to the mic and share some kind words for Reverend Laura, if you would like. And I'm going to go first. Oh, I'm going to go first, and then you can go second. Yes. You're number 2. All right. Reverend Laura, when I first started working here a year and a half ago, I knew right away that we were going to get along. Your energy made me feel grounded and clear, and the way you spoke to me made me feel respected and supported. I began to fully understand what Unitarian Universalism stands for because of your embodiment of the values. Through you, I saw that being a minister is hard work. But you do not waver in your integrity, your courage to speak your truth, and your commitment to leading with love. You care so much. I see you, I feel you, and I've learned from you. So many others will too. Blessings on your journey. Well, you can go next if you want. Come on up. Stand up. You can say something nice to Reverend Laura. What do you want? Do you want to go next? Here, I'll come back to you. Want to go?
When I first came here, I learned that everyone is kind and caring, and that made me feel like a good person.
When I first came here, you just stepped up and you always were welcoming me, and it just made me feel so confident here, and I could really express myself.
When I first came here, I was a little nervous because I had never been to a church before, but you've always welcomed me and given me lots of love, and I really appreciate that. Good luck at your next church.
Yeah, let's pass it. Do you want to turn?
I have been here for a long time. When you came, I felt happy and encouraged to talk to you, and that made, I think that like encouraged other people, and soon it encouraged the whole church. And encouraging people is the best thing to do at church, so I think that it was really great that you came and changed everyone.
You're really kind to others.
Anybody else want to turn?
When I was sad, like, you used a calm and loving voice and hugged me, and you did really well in, like, keeping everything together and being really nice and fair.
Anybody else want to turn? Go ahead.
I just wanted to say how much I appreciate you helping me with my youth service and like exploring my own values. I feel like you like do a really good job embodying our church values, and you have such a good energy. Good luck.
Anybody else, any last ones? Good.
I really enjoy church because of you.
I love you.
All right, that's all right? Yeah? Okay. Oh, you want to go again?
So when I first walked in, I didn't really know anybody, but when you just started talking to me, it made me feel like I was really welcome here.
Okay, last one.
And when I came in, like when I learned that everyone was doing a great job here working, I felt like that you've been here forever, like literally.
All right. Oh, okay, last one. Go ahead.
So, I feel like I stopped doing it. So I hope that you will encourage the kids at your next church, and I think that they will really like you as much as we did, and that it's that you always try to encourage everyone.
All right, friends, if you learned the Laura song, come and stand up on the stairs. Would like to come to game day can come over with me in Sawyer.
Well, shoot, y'all. Oh my goodness. That was amazing. Let's take a breath together. We take time during our service to light our candles of community, peace, and justice. We light our red candle of community to signify our interconnection. Wherever you are in time and space, newcomer or longtime member, here in the sanctuary or joining us virtually, we light this candle holding you in love. This morning, we particularly hold Melissa Martin, our member services and volunteer coordinator, in our hearts. Melissa would like you to know that she is home after her surgery and beginning the slow and steady work of recovery. We also hold our facilities manager, Mark Evans, in our hearts. Mark had a surprise back surgery this week and is at home also beginning the work of recovery. I invite you to speak aloud the name or names of people who are on your mind and heart this morning, that we might call them fully into this space. We light our blue candle of peace for all the places worldwide where people live with the threat of war and violence. This morning, we particularly send our love and energy to California, where protesters are courageously standing up against ICE agents. We pray for their safety. I invite you to say aloud the places on your mind and heart in need of healing, of hope, of peace. And we light our yellow candle of justice. May all people everywhere live their lives in freedom, and may we each do our part in the work for justice and liberation for all in our global community. As we recommit ourselves to the work of love and justice, please voice your commitment by saying amen. Our prayer today is part of a reading I have adapted from the Reverend Anna Bladell. A recent conversation among valued colleagues included our shared sense that the prayer we are praying most these days may be, what the heck? We were naming our experiences of wordlessness, our felt sense of powerlessness, a world on fire, a world in which cruelty, callousness, and complacency are raging. How tempting to consider it all futile. How crucial, too, to consider it otherwise. I joked seriously that everything I write feels redundant. Some version of what the heck, so much devastation, pain, destruction, remember too, listen to the bird song. Seek out the baby asparagus tips, beginning to reach from soil to sun. Make giant pots of soup. Tend life in all the ways we can. Redundant, perhaps, and to a through line of truth, a resource for survival. It is possible, reminds poet Alok, to do both at the same time. It is possible to say the world is bleak and impossible and vicious and cruel, And the world is magnificent, generous, abundant, and whimsical. It is up to us to tend the world. We practice salvation, Reverend Anna writes, by bearing witness to wounds endangering collective life, and by choosing together to generate healing by applying the salve of fierce and tender care. With fierce and tender care we salve. With fierce and tender care we are saved. When our prayer is, what the heck, the answer to prayer is, whatever sphere of influence you have, use it. Witness and name what others seek to ignore or normalize. Refuse capitulation, fear, threat, resist dehumanization, a vicious cycle which trades life for lives and will always fail to honor the sacredness of each life a demand for protection, nourishment, survival, which is to say, practice love, tend life force, in flesh, care, fierce and tender, cultivate courage, root in collective movement. Find your people, organize, and access the power that comes only by coming together. This is what prayer looks like. This is how God moves. This is how salvation comes. Amen. If you have a joy or sorrow you would like to honor through lighting a silent candle, you are invited to come forward now.
Thank you, Reverend Laura, so we don't have to use our fire blankets. Today's reading is a poem by the Irish poet Padraig Ó Tuama called The Facts of Life. The facts of life: that you were born and you will die, that you will sometimes love enough and sometimes not, that you will lie, if only to yourself, that you will get tired, that you will learn most from the situations you did not choose, that there will be some things that move you more than you can say, that you will live, that you must be loved, that you will avoid questions most urgently in need of your attention, that you began as the fusion of a sperm and an egg of two people who once were strangers and may well still be, that life isn't fair, that life is sometimes good and sometimes even better than good, that life is often not so good, that life is real. And if you can survive it, well, survive it well, with love and art and meaning given where meaning's scarce, that you will learn to live with regret, that you will learn to live with respect, that the structures that constrict you may not be permanently constricting, that you will probably be okay, that you must accept change before you die, but you will die anyway. So you might as well live, and you might as well love. You might as well love. You might as well love.
Thank you, choir. Thank you, Bonnie. I just want to say that I will be here next week. There's no sermon next week, but I will be here. Whew. There's a classic essay in ministry written in 1978 by the Reverend Roy M. Oswald titled "Running Through the Thistles, Terminating a Relationship with a Parish." In this essay, Reverend Oswald tells a story about being a young boy in rural Saskatchewan. When he and his two older brothers were coming home from school, they often wanted to make it home as quickly as possible, which meant they had the option of taking the long way home or running through a field of thistles. Reverend Oswald writes that they rarely wore shoes to school in the warmer months, and by the end of the school day, they were tired and hungry and anxious to be home, and being the youngest of three boys, he often didn't have a ton of choice in the decided route. So he recalls them often choosing to take the fastest way, which meant running barefoot through the thistles, yelping the entire way, and then falling to the ground on the other side to pull the thorns from their feet. He writes, "This story illustrates how some pastors approach their termination periods. They rightly assume that there will be pain involved, so their approach is to run through as fast as they can. The advantage of running full speed through the closure of a ministry is that of giving short shrift to the most painful parts of that experience. The problem is this approach usually backfires. As in running through the thistles, we always end up with briars in our feet on the other side. The briars are the powerful emotions we have not dealt with. It's impossible to stuff powerful feelings down inside, paint a smile on our face, and come out on the other side feeling whole or good about ourselves. I know when I started talking explicitly in 2023 about the fact that I would serve at UUCR for 2 more years and then would end my contract ministry with you, many of you were hurt and sad and confused. Many of you told me explicitly that I would change my mind, that I was a new minister and would ultimately make other choices when the time came. And I told you then that my call with UUCR was clear. I was to be here for a limited time, to love you with my whole heart, to help you gain clarity on your past and your future, and then to love you enough to show you a good ending, a good goodbye. In spite of what we might have wanted to do, we did not run through the thistles. We have had a long goodbye that was sometimes uncomfortable, that I know many of you didn't and maybe still don't want to think about. However, we have had an ending together that is not solely focused on ending and leaving and grief, but also focused on love. We are ending our time together, not battered and bruised, not pulling briars from our feet, but full of pride for the growth we have engaged in with one another. We are a little tired, a little anxious about what's next, and still sad that there is an ending, but we have loved one another hard and well, and that is a good ending of a good ministry. A few weeks ago, I preached about congregational growth and about growth being so much deeper than just something that can be measured in numbers. We have grown numerically. The numbers of people attending worship have increased over the past 3 years. We have had several new members join. And as I said a few weeks ago, I am actually least interested in the numerical growth we are seeing. Because numerical growth is just a byproduct of the more important, essential types of growth. Growth of spirit, growth of trust, growth of love, growth of energy, growth of outreach, growth of passion, growth of faith, growth of fun, and growth of joy. These are all so much more important, and it is from these changes that we will see the growth of pledges and numbers and other things that will make the church more easily able to be sustained. We've done a lot of work over the past 3 years to hear and understand the stories of this congregation. Stories of joy and growth and community. Stories of conflict, hurt, and harm. Stories of justice and values and presence. Stories of shame, secret stories, buried stories, stories of love and belonging. So I have been listening over the past several months, particularly to hear the stories that are emerging about me, about my ministry, about our time together. One story that I'm hearing emerge is that I have been the perfect minister for this time, that my skills were perfectly suited for ministry here, that I was the perfect person in the areas that UUCR needed most. As someone who believes that ministry is mostly about the willingness to be human in public, who emphasizes imperfection and mistakes and making amends in every other sermon, it's curious that this is the story that's evolving. What I hear in this very flattering narrative, though, is not that I was perfect, but that there was a powerful match here in which we were able to be human together. And mostly that is not about me. That's not about my ministry or style or any of my perfection or imperfection. Mostly that is about us, finding a way of being together with genuine love and joy that served the community in its humanity. That is, we found a way of serving together that allowed us to acknowledge all that is, the good, the bad, the ugly, together. I did not bring that love and humanity to UUCR, and I certainly will not be taking it with me. The role of minister, more than anything, is to serve as a mirror, reflecting all that is beautiful and healthy and right. So anything you see that is working is you, the church, you, the Unitarian Universalist Church of Reading. You are the ones who hold that and will continue to grow it in my absence as you continue to move into all that comes next. We have been faced with tough times and tough decisions over the past 3 years. We have enacted both tiny micro changes and big changes that impact all of our time together. Remember that period of time we went through without a music director? When Beth Murray was playing the music every week and Ron Cavicchio was conducting? Remember that same period of time when we didn't have any religious education staff and the RE committee was pulling together religious education for our children and youth? And that was the same period of time, y'all, when we didn't have an office administrator. Remember that year when we hired 6 people in 1 year? How about the decisions we have made about our property? The decision to rent out Loring, which required us moving out of Loring and rehabbing Sawyer to suit our needs. What about when the pipe burst in the atrium that Sunday morning and redoing our sanctuary floor, which required moving the pews and rearranging? Remember when our Black Lives Matter banner was stolen and then stolen again and then stolen again? Remember the conversations we had about our commitments to justice and siding with love? This is a community that has practiced doing hard things together, starting well before I got here. You have been through challenging staff and ministerial transitions, congregational conflict, ministerial misconduct, periods of decline in pledging and in members, difficult political seasons that call us to live our lives in new ways. And I hate to break it to you, but you're not special in that way. Every congregation goes through these transitions and conflicts and seasons, but what matters is how you manage, how you continue to manage these seasons. And you do that by loving one another, by trusting one another, by relying on one another. Yes, professional ministry is important and part of how this community engages with our faith tradition, but ministry is shared and ministry is mutual. You have shown me the ways you minister to one another, and in that ministry, everyone comes away changed. When Bonnie told me she had chosen Elaine Hagenberg's anthem, "You Do Not Walk Alone," for this service, I knew it was exactly the message I wanted you to hear. May you see God's light on the path ahead when the road you walk is dark. May you always hear, even in your hour of sorrow, the gentle singing of a lark. When times are hard, may hardness never turn your heart to stone. May you always remember when the shadows fall, you do not walk alone. Friends, one of the reasons why endings are so hard is because they remind us that every last one of our relationships is temporary, because every one of us is temporary. Even as this institution has lasted since its inception as the Third Congregational Society of Reading Unitarian in 1827, and this building has lasted 100 years, buildings and institutions are temporary. And in this temporariness, the very best and perhaps only thing we can do is accompany one another and love one another well. Can you turn to one another and say, "I will be with you through this time"? This is a time of upheaval in our country, a time when those of us who are trans or queer, those of us who are not white, those of us who were not born in this country or whose bodies are otherwise legislated or at risk, we are scared. Can you turn to one another and say, "I will be with you through this time"? There are many of you in this congregation who are grieving the loss of a loved one right now. There are many of you who are grieving the loss of a relationship, your marriage, your relationship with your child, your relationship with yourself, and the way you imagined your life would be. There are many of you who are living with new health diagnoses, who are afraid for a loved one. There is so much happening in our individual lives. For all we are holding, can you turn to one another and say, I will be with you in this time? And this institution and Unitarian Universalism are also in a time of change. We do not know if we will have one minister or multiple ministers or no minister serving this congregation next year. But I know that ministry will continue because you continue. You will continue to love one another, to minister to one another. And strange as it sounds, I encourage you not to run through those thistles either. This period of uncertainty, of not knowing what comes next, of experimentation and trial and error and discovery, don't grin and bear it or scream your way through this time as quickly as you can. There is so much deep work to be done in the transition, individually and together. I love you. I believe in you. Our Unitarian Universalist theology teaches us that revelation is not sealed. Your story, my story, the congregation's story, our faith's story is all unfolding. They are not finished. And we have the power and the capacity to shape those stories. May the next chapters be one of deep love, greater justice, and evolving possibility. May we continue to stubbornly insist that love matters, that change is possible, and that we have the wisdom and the vision to dream and create a hopeful future of liberation and freedom for all. Amen.
Everybody have enough tissues? A simple yet powerful way for each of us to help heal the world is to become more involved in our community by learning about and sponsoring the good works of local charitable organizations. Every Sunday, UUCR shares half of the money received in the collection plate with a nonprofit organization that shares our UU values. Our Share the Plate recipient for the month of June is the Civil Association for the Conservation of the Peruvian Amazon Environment, CONAPAC. CONAPAC is a Peruvian nonprofit whose mission is to promote the conservation of the Amazon rainforest through the education of its stewards, the people who live along the Amazon and Napo rivers. CONAPAC protects the rainforest through its Adopt a School program, which provides school supplies and conservation workshops to the local river communities. Former UUCR Minister Jane Rezpka, okay, thank you, Martha Moore, and other former UUCR members have visited villages that CONAPAC supports and have seen firsthand the significant impact it has made. Please give generously to our Share the Plate offering to support both Conopac and the mission of UUCR. Our congregation exists and thrives through the gifts of those who call this place their spiritual home. If you're here with us in the sanctuary, you can put your gift in the collection plate as it goes by. Otherwise, you may make a gift online or send in a check. Please give generously to our Share the Plate offering. If this is your first time with us, let the plate pass you by. Your presence is gift enough.
Thank you all. So our congregational life this week, in Melissa's absence, again, I will be here next week. Please bring a flower for flower communion. We will celebrate that ritual together. Next week is our last regular worship service of the year, and it will be a celebration of our ministry together. The following week will be online only. We will stream the General Assembly worship service. And then, as Tirza said, Sunday morning worship services will resume in Fellowship Hall. Thank you so much to the worship arts team for all they've done to organize that this year. So, in short, read the newsletter. Updates and announcements will be happening there. Melissa outlined everything that's happening all summer in the newsletter before she left. So everything you need to know is already right there. Please rise in body or in spirit. We are going to sing our closing hymn together. So fitting for today. Number 354, We Laugh, We Cry. We will sing. I love you. I love you. You all can do hard things. You have shown this again and again and again. Serving you has been a privilege and an honor, and you all have shaped my ministry forever in incredible ways. I'm so privileged to have been your minister. Go in peace. I will see you next week for flower communion, and I love you all. Let's extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Go in peace.